And I'm actually
Definitely. And
gonna
I'm glad you guys opened up. No, it was good that they opened up another section because the other one didn't fit in my schedule. And I was like talking to Dr. Rahor, and I was like, please, like, is there anything you could do? Are you guys going to open up? And she was like, yeah, we're actually thinking of opening up another section. And as soon as I saw you were teaching, I was like, oh, I'm snatching that section. Like, because like, also like, I feel like, so I swam, as I was telling you in the email, like I swam
yeah.
for the BU club team. And it was a great workout. You know, it was like I really enjoyed what I was doing. And then I heard this semester that they're actually not having any of the clubs run in person. Like everything's going to be online. And I'm like, how do you swim online? Like you can't really swim online. So I was like, I'm going to sign up for swimming because I also wanted a class where I would, because I'm on like a workout thing right now. I'm like a fanatic for working out. So I was going to also let you know that like I'm sore a lot of the time. So if you see me trying to give my 100%, but it might not appear as 100%. It's because I'm literally sore from the waist down because I do all these workouts of kickboxing on top of all this. So I'm like always moving my body. I lift a little bit
That's
like
good.
3 days a week.
Feel good.
So just to try and like stay fit. This is my goal, is to also like do swimming for like fit, you know, living like a fit life. Like I got into this whole health journey and like, you know, this is why I'm like trying to like do swimming because I'm like, this is like now part of my journey, you know?
No, that's real good. And definitely, I mean, I'm actually kind of glad that it's a smaller class. We weren't sure exactly what I'd be teaching this semester because retirements were kind of up in the air and everyone didn't really know. And so I was kind of the wild card, like, okay, well, if he retires, you're going to go do that class. But if he doesn't, then you'll do this. And so they finally figured all that out. But
What? Oh, amazing, amazing. So there's really only me, Shamika, and one other kid in the class
it looks
at this
like,
point?
is it Rihanna? Rihanna? Rihanna?
Yeah. Hi, Lindsay. Remember me from USY?
Oh my God. Hi, Rayo. What's up?
So yeah,
Small world.
it looks like there's 4 registered currently. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. You guys will
That'll be good.
have some very, very focused workouts. That'll work well for all of you.
Amazing.
All right.
And you know what else I was going to ask you? Like,
yeah.
do you think like, so with the swimming, is it going to work where, you know, and I kind of read the syllabus pre like class just so I had an idea. I know you were saying, you know, we'll come in, we'll bring our towels, put you know, bags and stuff go on the side. And then when we change, we go in the locker room and things like that. My question is, do you think we're going to be swimming for a considerable amount of the class time? Like, is that how it's going to kind of go? Or are you going to like kind of talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
amazing. All
of the cognitive portions of the class will be either via Zoom or through, or just through pre-recorded lectures.
Okay, great.
So that way we can have more time in the pool, just because, especially in the beginning of the semester, because who knows, like a month out, it may be completely online, which means that we're doing alternate workouts, you know, via Zoom and such. So, which isn't as good. So I'd rather us get in as much as possible in the pool. So.
Definitely. For sure. I really like, you know, I like that you're going to like also perfect the stroke because, you know, like I really feel like, you know, I definitely need like a brush because there's some of the strokes I feel like I don't get my best workout when I don't do it correctly. You know, like there's so much I still feel like I know, even despite being on the team and like, you know, just constantly doing it. Like I still feel like there's even like some of the most basic strokes and I'm just like not doing as well as I know I could. And so like, I'm not getting as good of a workout from it when I like kind of do it wrong.
Yeah. And we'll definitely be
oddly enough, get Charlie horses.
So, we'll be working on mostly freestyle in the beginning of the semester, and then work our way through different strokes and through different skill sets that'll help us. So I'm actually going to share my screen with everyone.
Perfect.
Let's take a look. All right, there we are. So Well, to let everyone know, I'm Matt Gowers. I'm the instructor. We currently have 4 that are signed up for the semester, and maybe get a couple more. I think somewhere between 6 and 12 is kind of optimal for a class like this, where you kind of get some good bonding for between students, but then also you'll have distance and space, especially with the COVID aspect. So I think it'll be actually quite good. This is the syllabus that I brought up today. I'm just basically going to go over the syllabus, kind of go over expectations, what we're going to do, how we're going to work the whole semester. I'm going to go over the first module and the first unit of what we're going to be doing and talking about. And then from there, I'll see you on Friday, and we'll be in class in the West Gym in the pool on Friday. So just be prepared for being in the pool Friday. All right. So for this course, intermediate swimming, I do have a recommended text. It's not required. It's called Mastering Swimming, and it's a great reference for you to go back and forth on understanding swimming strokes and different things of that sort. I don't require it because I don't teach to it or test to it or anything of that sort. But hopefully when you leave here, you'll be able to say, okay, well, this is, what was that again? And you'll be able to look back and see. I'm going to actually see Masters Athlete. I haven't looked up the prices on it recently. But yeah, Mastering Swimming, I think you can get it like $3 used from a bunch of different textbook places. Well, somewhere between 3 and 20. So it's really not that expensive, and it's a great resource. Like I said, I'm not going to teach to it, but it's just a great resource. There is a prerequisite to this course. I do need everyone to be able to get from one side of the pool to the other side of the pool and be comfortable in deep water. All right, so where you don't freeze or panic in deep water. Do you have to be a great swimmer to take the course? Not at all. All right. But you should be able to at least get to the other side of the pool and be comfortable in the deep water. I am going to put a little disclaimer in here, not for you guys who I'm talking to right now, because I'm going to actually post this to my other courses, my running course, as well as my Learn to Swim course. Learn to Swim course people, if you don't need to get to the other side of the pool. That's just, if you've never been in the water before, that's fine. Also, running course people, obviously the swimming portion doesn't apply to you, but everything else does. And so I'm actually going to be posting this for all my other classes, because there's the first 2 weeks, everyone's always going in, going out, type of thing. So some people may drop the course, other people may add. And so if they want to reference back through what we talked about the first day, at least they have it. So, all right, you can read the description. Safety. This is the focus. A big focus in the course is safety. So as the class, we kind of bond well to each other, and we want to look out for each other, looking at who's struggling, who may not be struggling. And so if someone is struggling, definitely let another lifeguard know. There'll always be a lifeguard on pool deck. So definitely let myself or the lifeguard know that someone's struggling, and we can help them see how they're doing. As well as for you, we just want everyone to be safe. All right. Now with a smaller class, it's just a safer aspect. I've done intermediate swimming where we've had 30 kids in the class or 30 students in the class, and it's intense. It gets to be intense, especially if we play water polo or something along those lines. With 30 students in the class, it's all on top of each other and kind of crazy. So it's actually nice that this class is a little bit smaller. No cell phones or MP3 players or anything of that sort. Now, granted, you'll be in the pool, so you probably won't want to take those things anyway, but just safety precautions. All right. So it's all about safety. That's the biggest thing here, is that especially in any aquatic setting, any water setting, we're looking at keeping everyone safe first and foremost. And then once we're safe and good, then we're able to push ourselves quite hard. So this course is a 2-credit course. So you have 6 hours of course-related work a week. And so 3 of those hours are in the classroom, and then the other 3 hours are outside of the classroom. All right. Yes. Yeah. I believe you can use the Apple Watch to track your swim. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not too familiar with the Apple Watch's features. So I use a Garmin 945, which works really well for any my running classes. Any remote learner has to get a Garmin watch so we can use Garmin Connect, because there's a lot of features, and so I can track, okay, this person actually did the workout, and it tracks heart rate variability, and it's very unique to individual bodies. The Garmin brand, or at least the 945, does swim stroke. I'm not sure what the Apple Watch does, but try it out. If it's waterproof, try it out, see what's going on. And I'd love to be able to get some feedback on how the Apple Watch works with swim strokes specifically. So good question, really good question. If you have other questions, please let me know. All right, I'm good with questions. There are some objectives here, some goals that we're having for the course itself, like improving aerobic development and going over proper diet and nutrition and different things of that sort. I'm not really going to go over that too much, but just to let you know that that's what our focus is for this course. And then we have expectations. You do have materials that you'll need. So proper attire and swimwear. Females, I recommend a 1-piece suit. All right. If you have a 2-piece suit and that's all you have right now, hop in the water on Friday. Once we get further into the semester, workouts get a little bit more intense, as well as like things like water polo or anything of that sort gets a little bit more physical. And so things like that tend to be a little bit more intense. So that's why I recommend a 1-piece. But if you only have a 2-piece at the moment, that's perfectly fine. Any males that join the course, swim trunks, perfectly fine, work out well. For everyone, I do recommend a swim cap. So a swim cap's not going to keep your hair from getting wet, right? Your head is going to get wet. But a swim cap's going to keep the water from flowing through your hair and keeping you from really killing your hair. So no matter how short or long, like I have kind of medium hair, even shorter hair than I have, it's going to kill your hair. The chlorine, especially with COVID protocols, the chlorine is much higher. So please keep in mind that, definitely get a swim cap as much as you can. Aha. So you probably have used, the question was, is swim cap required? They don't like the texture of them, which it's not required. There are some that are cloth based instead of the latex, or instead of the rubberized material, that may be better for you in terms of the texture piece. So yeah, definitely take a look at those. It'll just save your hair from being destroyed and maybe get around that the texture aspect. But I know what you're talking about. I definitely do. And then I do really recommend or require goggles. You need to get a pair of goggles. This is being recorded. I'm going to say it. Don't get it from the bookstore. All right? Please don't get goggles from the bookstore. I'm going to say it one more time. Don't get goggles from the bookstore. All right? The goggles that they have are not very good quality, and they leak quite a bit. I do recommend getting yourself the ones that I have been using are something called the Speedo Vanquishers. The Speedo Vanquishers are very, very decent goggle, kind of entry level though, but they do the job of making sure that the goggles don't leak. That's really the end all be all. So I think they're around 20 bucks. So keep everything from leaking. They don't fog up that much. As they age a little bit, they'll fog up a little bit more, but generally speaking, they're going to keep from leaking, which is the biggest aspect here. So those are the materials that you'll need. You will need a workbook. So the workbook that we have, looking for it here. The workbook that we have is, I have something called the Wellness Workbook that I have created. It basically has everything that you need for the semester in terms of the cognitive base. So it's broken up into units, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you have journals, each unit. These are your journals. You have writing assignments, each unit. These are your 2 writing assignments. And you have an assignment, each unit. So this is the SMART Goals assessment assignment for the first unit. And so basically it goes in order: journals, articles, assignment, and you can just go through the workbook throughout the semester, and it's pretty simplistic, very straightforward, nothing really surprising out there. So pretty easy. You can do it if you want to download it as the PDF and fill it in via Adobe Acrobat, you can do that. If you want to do some things on like a separate Word doc or whatnot, you can do that. You can print it and fill everything in as well. But you'll be uploading all of your assignments to this upload link. It's a Google form, and basically you'll add your files and you're good to go. So it's in course materials. You'll have the assignment upload link right there. So pretty simplistic. So you'll any type of work that you upload, including the medical history and informed consent forms that you'll be uploading, will be uploaded to that link. All right. So pretty simplistic there. Any questions to this point?
Yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So are you going to be writing like sets on the whiteboard and we have to like read them? Or basically I'm saying like, can I swim without my contacts, or do I have to see the board, like the whiteboard?
So if a couple things. One is, I know your pain. I have a prescription of negative 6.25 in terms of contacts, so I know your pain. And I swam for many years and I only had glasses. So you can do a few things. One is, if you're comfortable with wearing your contacts and having goggles, you can absolutely do that. In the 15 years I've been swimming competitively, I have not lost a contact, even without goggles, but everyone's eyes are different. So that's one thing. Obviously there's a risk to that. You can, if you have a set of glasses, what you can do is in your lane, right up on pool deck, you can put your glasses there. They're pretty safe on pool deck right in front of the lane. And then if you need to see the whiteboard or see me demonstrate something, you can take your goggles, put them on top of your head, put your glasses to your head just to watch for a second, and then put them back down. So you can do that too. Third thing is, we can just kind of work on that, like communication on what I'm writing on the board as well, which is fine. So yeah, I will be writing on the whiteboard, but I've definitely had students who don't bring their glasses in, and then just we just go back and forth on what exactly the next step is. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And then the last thing is bring in, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
So would you say like each class we're going to swim for about roughly an hour for like basically the whole class?
Pretty much. It'll probably be, by the time we get into the water, what I do want to do is, because chlorine, I'm feeling safer with the students being in the water itself. I used to come in and just kind of congregate, sit on the benches and kind of wait, and then everyone gets in at once. I might actually get to the point where we just kind of come into the pool area and you just get into the water and you just hang out in the water, and start with the warm-up set.
Okay, great.
Just because, we don't want to hang out too much. So that's basically how it'll work. You'll just come in, we'll get at least the warm-up set out of the way. We'll do things together as well, and then we'll go. I typically let everyone out somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes before the end of the class. So I think what do we go to, 2:10? So you guys will be getting out somewhere between 2 o'clock and 2:10, depending on the day and depending on how things are going. So that'll allow for people to change and all that type of stuff too.
Perfect.
And then the last thing to bring in is cliche, but to bring in a positive attitude, which doesn't mean cheery, all right? It doesn't mean happy-go-lucky by any means. If you're having an awful day, you're having an awful day. But come in just to be willing to change, all right? That's kind of what I'm looking for here, is just come in and say, okay, I'm just gonna make a little bit better difference to either myself or someone else. All right. Attendance. So you're responsible for any material, all right, that you miss. So if you miss, there's an attendance grade breakdown that you can see here. All right, it's gonna be 30% of your grade. If you miss a class, then you miss a class, all right? If you want to get that grade back, you can do makeups, all right? Makeup classes to make that happen. So basically that I will talk about at the end of the syllabus, pretty simplistic, but you'll have opportunities to make up classes should you miss them. Just attendance is the most important part of this class, all right? Which by the questions I'm hearing and by the information that I'm hearing from you guys, it seems like you kind of understand that too. Where for someone swimming, and I talked to my Learn to Swim class about this, for someone swimming, I would rather them get in the pool and swim for 5 minutes, 7 days a week, than get in the pool for 2 or 3 days for an hour and a half each day. Swimming is all about touching the water, feeling the water, getting used to the water, and really manipulating the water. And so the more times, more frequency you get into the water, the better. So that's really what it comes down to there. So that's why attendance is so important. I want you to be in class so we can really make sure that we can make sure that we can swim, get you into the water, get you acclimatized to the water, and work on our skills, work on our strokes, all that type of stuff. So, which leads us into grading. So I just talked about attendance being 30% of your grade. There are 4 other grades up here. One is you're going to be doing a daily journal, so 7-day-a-week journal. You only have to do 60 entries. So we're looking at 60 entries, which come out to about 55% of the semester days. So we have 100, I think it's 112 days from now until finals week. And so you have to write in your journal 60 of those days. All right. That's 7 days a week. Doesn't matter what it is. The journal is all about, what the journal is, it's all about noting things that are notable. All right. So a workout, obviously that's notable. So what did you do for your warm up, your drill set, your preset, your main set? What did you do? How did you feel? You could do a spiral notebook. You do need to hand it in every module. So every unit that you hand in, you'll be handing in that portion of the journal entries as well. So just keep that in mind. So you can do it in kind of a notebook, or you can do it in somewhere else, but it does need to be handed in with the modules as well. So the daily training journal is basically anything notable. if let's say you have a sandwich before you come to class every day, that's not notable because you're doing it on a regular basis and it's not bothering you. Now, let's say you don't eat before class usually, but you have a sandwich before class and your stomach is just turned over. That's notable to put in. Don't eat a sandwich before class. Or some people, they may need to eat a sandwich before class. So it depends on who it is. But whatever affects you is what we want to write in. All right. And so maybe you slept for 2 hours the night before. That's notable. Put that in. Are you feeling sick? Are you feeling fatigued? Are you feeling energetic? What makes you feel energetic? Did you start eating healthier things? Did you start eating not healthier things? So all of those types. Are you stressed out from social situations or from academics? Those are all things to put into your journal. It doesn't have to be long. It's just bullet pointing. So bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't have to be complete sentences. Some do. Some really like writing kind of a journal entry that's more flowing. I'm more of a bullet point person, get it done, but have the data there in front of me. So that's really what the journal is about. You have that's 1 grade. You have your assignments. So you have 4 assignments. 1 is the assessment. You have the nutrition assignment. You have your biological assignment and your health leadership assignment. Assessment is all about SMART goal setting. All right. And we'll talk about SMART goal setting, basically figuring out where your baseline measures are and going and making a declaration of where you want to be at the end of the semester. Your nutrition assignment is all about tracking calories, tracking foods and such, and ingredients. So we'll talk about that in that assignment. Biological assignment is all about anatomy and phys, talking about energy systems. Don't be afraid of the anatomy and phys part. It's very basic, very just kind of skimming the surface, so not anything crazy. But I want you to know some basic understandings of anatomy and phys and biomechanics. And then our health leadership assignment is all about time management, stress management, personality profiles, and motivation profiles. So those are the 4 assignments that you have, and that's the 2nd grade. You have a quiz or an exam. That'll be at the end of the semester. Normally I do it before Thanksgiving, but this semester, because everything's flip-flopped, I'm going to do it. It's going to be more of a take-home thing at the end of the semester. And then you're going to have, that's your 3rd grade, and then you're going to have article research, which will be your 4th grade. All right. How I have this set up, and you'll notice this entire course is set up for uniqueness and individualisticness. I don't know if that's a word, but we'll go with it. Where the grades are W, X, Y, and Z. The grades are not, they're going to be 30%, 20%, 15, and 5% of your grade. Whichever is your best grade is going to be 30%. And you don't have to choose this, declare this. My algorithm, my spreadsheet does this on its own. Basically says, okay, well, this person did the best on the quiz, and then the journal was next, and then assignments were next, and then article research was next. And so it'll weight all of those 30, 20, 15, and 5 and make that automatic, depending on what's going on in your grading. So this entire course is built around evaluating your strengths and how you progress with those strengths. All right. I don't want to just evaluate, like I'm a terrible test taker. So I'd hate to have a quiz be 30% of your grade when you're a terrible test taker. When you're much better at journaling and writing down data and collecting data, I'd rather evaluate you on that instead. So that's why it's set up this way. So it's based on your strengths. Whatever you're the best at, that's how you're going to be evaluated in terms of how you progress. So any questions on grading for the moment? All right. Article research, I talked about that a little bit. So you're going to have 8 article summaries. And the idea behind article summaries and article research is that you have me as a resource for this semester. All right. You can ask, hey, what do you think about this? And I can give you my professional opinions on what I've seen in the research over the years. After you leave here, you might go into and take a look at magazines like Swimming World or Swimming USA or Men's or Women's Health or whatever, articles that may be out there on the internet. And you have to now sift through that information to understand whether that's BS information or not. You have to see if it's credible, if it's valid. You have to see how in depth it is. And so that's why we're doing article research, is so that you can take what's out there and start learning how to sift through all of that information. There are a lot of myths out there. A lot of myths, like stretching before working out. Not a good idea, typically. That's a large myth. So those are things that I want to be able to teach you a concept rather than teaching you knowledge. And that's what article research is for. All right. And that can be on anything. Your articles that you work on can be on swimming. They can be on running or cycling. They can be on nutrition. They can be on weightlifting. They can be on nursing. They can be on, if you want to do it on some COVID stuff, they can be on that. Anything health related, that's what I want you to do this article research on. All right. We talked about the journals, and so those are your 4 grades: journal, assignments, quiz, and article research, as well as obviously attendance.
Professor Gowers, I just have a kind of a random swimming question.
Yeah.
So I tend to get Charlie horses in the water a lot. I'll get a cramp that I can't move my foot after, or my knee when I'm swimming. And what is the best way to avoid it? Because once the pain, once the cramping goes away, then I go back and then it comes back again. While I'm in the water.
We'll try 2 things. One thing in that situation would be electrolytes. So especially magnesium is a large one.
Okay.
So making sure that you have enough of that and you're not being depleted of that nutritionally. But then also things like trigger points, and we'll work, if you get a cramp, and you're on the side wall, oh crap, this hurts. We'll get you out of the pool and have you roll and stretch a trigger point, which may release it as well. So we'll try a few different things that'll see what'll work.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to ask you because I was the last time I in the water, and recently I went swimming in the water and did laps just to get back into the groove. Yeah. And I was fine. But the weirdest thing is my luck in the West Gym pool is always getting Charlie horses at the weirdest possible time. It might be also I think you're right, just lack of and that time I was also not really moving as much. So when I was swimming was my main movement besides walking to and from class. So when I would do that, I guess that was triggering because my body wasn't used to it.
Okay.
Yep.
Definitely.
So glad you told me that I would plan in case that happens.
Yeah, no, we definitely there's some options there that we can work on, and we interesting to try to figure out what exactly is going on there.
Okay, amazing. And just one last thing. I know this is, I feel bad for Shamika and Raya. They're just listening to me talk right now.
Oh, that's fine.
I wanted to ask you, this is so random, but so I know swimming has said, when you read a lot of articles about swimming and also just from me having the experience, swimming burns a lot of calories, right? That's a true, it's a relative.
Yes and no. So mostly if you're going a certain heart rate, generally speaking, like cycling, running, swimming, if you're going a certain heart rate and you're kind of pushing at a certain amount, you're going to get generally the same calorie burn. So for myself, I'm usually looking around somewhere between 800 and 1,000 calories per hour for any one of those 3 activities. So
that's so good. I would be okay with that.
So obviously I'm a 155-pound male. So that's generally on the high side. People who are bigger and larger of people, as people, they'll burn more calories. Those who are smaller, females tend to burn a little bit less than males, are on the opposite end. So there's like some movement, but generally speaking, it's somewhere, it definitely burns quite a bit of calories. So
Okay, great. So I should always look forward to like a good workout when I come to class, like of some form of a workout.
yes, especially once we get into the semester and really get moving. The first couple weeks, I generally like to focus on skill sets and really focus on balancing in the water and three-dimensional space and understanding how to move in the water. And then we get into harder, like just all-out workouts later on in the semester.
Oh, perfect.
Midway through the semester. So actually
Amazing.
looking at the
Okay.
course outline, like circuit training and pyramid training, these two, and compound and supersets, those three workouts specifically are like pretty heavy duty right there. So those will be good.
Amazing.
So this is the course outline, kind of going back to it. It's so you'll see the assignments due on this left side here. For those classes, your class is obviously Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I have a couple Tuesday, Thursday classes. So take a look at what it is. Obviously, if it's relating to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it'll be that Monday, Wednesday, Friday day. If it's Tuesday, Thursday, it'll be relating to that Tuesday, Thursday date. Just makes it easier for me to kind of see what's going on for each classes as a outline. And you'll see assignments due. So you'll see the assessment assignment, biomechanics, nutrition, and health leadership assignments and their due dates in that third column. The physical plan. So if it's a blank space, we're probably going to be in the pool. There are a few areas where we have Zoom discussions. So typically at the end of each unit, we're going to have a Zoom discussion about that particular unit, that particular assignment, and start you off on the next assignment. So that's how that will be kind of spaced out. There are 3 weeks. So you can see here West Gym exam week, and that goes 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 West Gym exam weeks. And generally speaking, those West Gym exam weeks, there'll be classes taking midterms and such in 69 North and South. And so keep that in mind, keep it respectful, just because they'll be taking tests in there. We'll still be in the pool, though. So we'll still be here, but just know that those things are happening. And then obviously we have our last day of in-person classes, and then it's online instruction, focusing on the quiz after Thanksgiving. So
question.
And then over on the very right-hand side, go ahead.
About the lectures to watch, do we watch those before class or after?
Generally before, around that time frame. So during class, it's really just to keep you on track. I don't want you to like watch, all the units lectures the day before we're gonna have a Zoom discussion. I'd rather you watch one and then another and then another. So that what's going to happen is you'll watch them, and then we'll have that Zoom discussion talking about and discussing all of those lectures beforehand that you watched before.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good question. You'll notice that there are a few links down here: personality, motivation, reinforcement, plyometrics, recovery. I did those last semester. I'm going to be actually recording these lectures here in the beginning, and we'll go one by one. So I'll release them and send them to you. They're all on YouTube. So I'll send those to you. All right. And I'll start linking them and all of that type of stuff. I'll link them in my courses. So that's the course outline and kind of the expectations there. You have the appendix list of supplemental reading. Definitely some things to look at that's just interesting. Makeup protocols. If you miss a class, you can go to any type of health event and write a one-page paper on who you met, what you learned, what you experienced, and then upload that to the upload link, the assignment link, and that'll make up for a class that you missed. There is a medical history form, this one here, as well as an informed consent form here that you'll have to fill out before I can have you start doing physical activity. So between now and Friday, fill out those forms and upload them to the assignment link. So they are on my courses as well. So you can take a look at and download Word formats of them rather than just picture formats of them, and download them, fill them out, and then upload them to the assignment link. And then some general education requirements, and then our COVID protocols. So when you come into class, keep your face mask, keep your face masks on, and then once you get into the pool, I'm going to have you take them off and place them on pool deck. So that way you can get them, if I'm doing a long discussion, I might have you put them on as you're standing there, especially if we get more people in the class. That way, if we bunch up a little bit, I want everyone to stay safe. So you can keep them on until you get in the water, and then you can take them off and put them on pool deck right at the edge of the pool. All right. Communication, please communicate with me on anything. All right. So I can help you at the end of the semester if you've missed a bunch of classes and because you woke up late, because your battery, your car battery died, or whatever it may be. If you've communicated with me throughout the semester that that's happening and documented that that's happening, I can help you and take kind of the benefit of the doubt in terms of how a student works in terms of grading. So communicate with me with everything. All right. Obviously, as a 110 class, I really hope you're not getting up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But if you miss class because you are sleeping, let me know that. Just say, hey, I screwed up. I slept through class. All right. I'd much rather you tell me that and just kind of be open with it and just like, okay, well, let's work on, obviously work on that for the future, but let's see if we can get you a makeup class or something along those lines. And if you communicate with me, it just shows that transparency and that openness and that willingness to make up for mistakes, willingness to admit what's going on. So it just shows a lot of professionalism and shows kind of matureness and responsibility, which is what the university is looking for as it is. So definitely just be open and just let me know what's going on. I'll take anything that's going on, you can let me know. All right. Let's see. Lockers. I don't have course procedure. Oh, no, here they are. So you can bring your bags and towels onto pool deck. I'll have X's on the benches for you. And then just don't get into the bleachers or hallway or locker room when you're really, really dripping wet. Try to dry off before you go into the locker rooms or go out into the hallway or anything of that sort, because it is a safety issue, okay? Especially the bleachers as well. So the bleachers, the staircase, we want to keep everything wet more towards the benches. The staircase is a little, it's tiny. They're tiny, tiny steps. So you got to really be careful there with that. You will be issued a locker after the ad drop deadline. You won't be able to leave anything in the locker, like I don't think like anything like fabric or anything of that sort. I think I'll let you know what you can leave in there. I think shampoo you might be able to leave in there and different things of that sort. And then towels, you'll be issued a towel that we might be giving them on pool deck specifically, and then that way we can use the towel after class or during class or whatever it may be. So I do recommend the first couple weeks bring in a towel, because I don't know how exactly we're working right now. So just keep that in mind. All right. Right. I think that's everything with class procedures. Any questions up until this point? Before I go over module 1? No, we're good.
Professor Gowers, actually, I do have a quick question.
Go for it.
So I printed out the module, like the workbook, because I wasn't sure if we had to like actually like write stuff on it and then hand it in. Do you want, like, say I used the notebook for my journal, right? And then I took like, are we physically handing you the paper, or are we like gonna like post it on the assignments link?
You'll post it on the assignments link, so you'll scan it or take a picture of it and upload that entire module in one file to the
Okay, great. So then the spiral thing should be okay then, right? You can let me use that and then take pictures, upload it that way?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Just making sure. Okay, awesome.
All right. So this is module 1. Like I said, you'll have 15 days of journals. So that'll be number 1. And then you'll have 2 writing assignments. So those will be find an article. It can be on anything, and write 1 paragraph on a summary of it. It can be, just summarize what's going on in the article, and then 1 paragraph of your opinion on it. So what do you think? Is it valid information, not valid? Is it biased, credible, whatever it may be? So 1 paragraph summary, 1 paragraph opinion, and then you'll upload that to the assignment link. All right. And then you have your assessment assignment in Unit 1, Module 1. And I'm going to go over this slightly. We have 10 minutes or so I should be okay there. So assessment assignment, the first thing you'll be doing, you'll be taking your resting heart rate. And finding that, you'll be waking up in the morning. And as you're laying in bed, take your heart rate for a full minute. So find your pulse on your neck. You can find it on your wrist. Find your pulse, relax, and then start counting and take it for a full minute. See where your resting heart rate is. All right. And then your max heart rate, it's going to be 220 minus your age. Not exactly a great formula, FYI. So those who are sedentary in their lifestyle, it's generally 220 minus your age. Those who are not sedentary, all right, all of you, probably somewhere between 18 and 22 years old. So you're going to be around 200 in terms of the heart rate. But myself, I'm 31. And so my max heart rate is 200. And so those who keep up with their fitness, keep up with their health, their max heart rate is going to stay higher. So 220 minus your age doesn't really work that well for those as you're going through life, especially if you're more fit. For right now, it's kind of an easier guess. And also so you understand that for those who are sedentary, that's kind of where it would be. And then I want you to find 1 target heart rate. So we're going to actually go through a whole unit on, and I'll have a whole chart on target heart rates, whether it's through recovery, VO2 max, tempo, subthreshold, superthreshold, and there'd be different percentages based on that. I want you to find 75%. So what that is, pretty simple formula. You take the max heart rate, you subtract your resting heart rate, you multiply that by 75%, the intensity that you're looking for, and then you add in your resting heart rate, and that gives you what your target heart rate for a specific workout may be. So 75%, it's a little bit up there. So like probably for most of us, about 150 beats per minute. So we're talking about that tempo zone or so. But I want you to be able to use this equation and be able to find that heart rate. So try to use 75% for that and take a look. Find your weight in pounds. Answer some other questions. How much you work out per week? How much is it weight training? How much is it cardio? How much do you sleep per night? Body measurements. So then you're going to be taking body measurements, all your biometrics. So take a look at, this is all going to be circumference. You're going to have to find a tape measure. You have to find the bust, which is the most pronounced point in your breasts, your shoulders, the circumference of basically your entire body sitting still, your waist, which is the circumference just above your hip bone, your thighs, widest point in the thighs, widest point in the calves, widest point in the hips, which is just below your hip bone, your arms, so the widest point of the bicep, tricep, and then your forearms, the widest point in the forearm. All right, right about here. So this entire assignment is all about finding your baseline measures and being able to see how you change towards the end of the semester. All right, you can make goals on it, but you can also figure out, all right, did it shrink? Did it enlarge? What's going on here with the baseline measures? As the next portion as well, the next portion is baseline measures in terms of activities. So I want you to choose 2 of them. We will be doing like a 12.5-yard swim as fast as you can to kind of see a baseline measure there. But how many push-ups can you do at once without stopping? How long can you hold a plank without stopping? Or how many pull-ups? Or how fast can you run a mile? How fast can you run 100 meters? So these are all baseline measures that you can take. So you don't have to do all of them. All right, I do recommend having more than less. If you do more, that's great because it'll allow you to have more baseline measures to see how well your fitness is going, how well your health is going, but you don't have to do all of them. I require you to do 2, but you can do more. I recommend you do more. And then the last portion, which is the most important portion in this assignment, is your SMART goals assignment. So what you're going to do is you're going to create 3, you're going to have 3 goals for the semester. And then each one of those goals, which this will be explained more in the goals lecture that you'll watch, each one of those goals will be broken down into 3 sub-goals, and each one of those sub-goals will be broken down into 3 tasks. So you can see this is just kind of an outline. If you want to use this outline, that's great. If you don't and you want to put it into a different Word document or something along those lines, you can. So you'll have 3 different goals, 9 different sub-goals, 27 different tasks. And the goals, one of them, I want to be swimming oriented. So how fast you can swim 12.5 yards, or how fast, or how long you can float on your back, or how long can you hold your breath underwater. All those type of things you can do as goals. And we'll talk about more sub-goals and tasks after that. The other 2 goals don't have to be swimming oriented. They can be fitness oriented, health oriented, improving nutrition. They can be academic oriented. I want to get a 3.5. They can be oriented for social settings. So how do you improve the relationship with your mother? All of those type of things can be goals as well. So you're going to do 3 goals for this semester. One's going to be swimming based, 2 that are going to be something else. And I really want you to focus on these goals to be able to progress yourself positively throughout the semester. So like I said, this semester is more about your lifestyle as a whole than this one particular class. This class is really how, really to improve your lifestyle as a whole and your health as a whole. So that's enough of my speech. We've got 3 minutes. Anybody have any questions or thoughts up until this point? You did have thoughts and questions up until this point, which was great. I encourage that. So. Good? Feeling good? Feeling excited?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This is good, Professor Gowd. So everything should be good. The first assignment, so that would be the first one that we do, and that one will be due this very soon. I have the calendar in front of me, so every time I guess I'll highlight. Maybe I'll do a highlight of when it's kind of when I hand it in. Okay. So that way I kind of know. So I guess the goals and assessments one was the one you just spoke about, and that one's going to be due on the 31st.
I think so. I'm not looking at the syllabus, but yeah.
Okay,
Whatever it says
amazing.
in there, we're good to go.
Okay, great. Is there anything else we should know about, like, in terms of, like, oh yeah, here's a good question for you about the pool. Just a random, sorry, now that I know that you're, like, very, into the whole fitness world, I can ask you, why do people get so hungry after swimming? Does that also have to do with calorie burning, or is that just like, because I used to get like really hungry and I'd eat a good dinner like full of like protein and like I had a carb with it, and I'd still be feeling like I didn't eat dinner after I swam.
Um, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if there's any research on that. That's actually a great, there's one of your article assignments right there, figuring that out and finding research on that. Because on one hand, we have runners, and some runners, they might have good appetites later on in the day, but immediately after a workout, they may not. So I'm curious on appetites immediately after a workout for different disciplines. Obviously, it might be different for how someone's trained, how frequent or consistent they are with their workouts, and all of that type of thing. So I would be interested in knowing some of that information. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do one on that because I've been so curious. Because like when I run, sometimes like I'll go on the treadmill and I get really bad cramps if I eaten before. Like I get like a side cramp that
yeah.
like it just doesn't go away. Like it's like when it ruins the whole run. Like I have to stop running, then I can't run anymore that day because like I'll still be cramping. So I was wondering how that would relate to swimming, being like because you don't eat before running, but then when swimming happens, you're like starving after.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
definitely good
all the
article
discipline.
research for you.
Definitely.
All right, well, we're at 2:10, so I'll let you go, but be ready to hop in the pool on Friday, all right? So get your swim gear together. I'll see you on Friday, and we'll have a fun time in the class. So thanks for
Sounds good.
tuning
Thank
in.
you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye now.
Bye-bye.